Millions of Americans left in the dark this morning after Hurricane Milton makes landfall on Florida's Gulf Coast as a Category 3 storm. Multiple fatalities reported in St. Lucie County from tornadoes. The storm has since been downgraded to a Category 1, but it is still bringing high winds and dangerous flash flooding throughout the southeast. Joining me now is the American Red Cross National Spokesperson, Nicole Maul. Nicole is on the phone with us right now. Nicole, thank you for joining us. Tell us how things are going on the ground in Florida as far as the recovery efforts as well. What are you seeing?
Thank you. Well, what we know right now is tens of thousands of people sought safe shelter last night in state-run evacuation centers, which the Red Cross and other partners are supporting. However, as the sun rises, we're really going to start to learn the true extent of what damage Milton has caused and how the Red Cross can help these communities who've been impacted. But, Maria, let me tell you that the most important thing right now is for folks to heed advice of local emergency management. Don't go back until it's safe to do so.
Right, and you won't know sort of how safe it is until the sun comes up. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, once we can get eyes and once all of the first responders and all of these great folks working really hard can give us a better understanding of what's going on, that's how we're going to know how quickly we need to move. But we've got over 1,000 volunteers currently on the ground in Florida, more than 2,000 across the southeast, because this is unfortunately our second go-around. But we're ready to help people stand up shelters depending on the extent of this damage.
So, Nicole, what do you believe the affected areas need the most right now? Has it been difficult in terms of getting supplies there? Tell us about the recovery and how it's going right now.
Absolutely. Well, when we think about what we know right now, and especially in terms of power outages, most important part is folks are using generators. Generator safety is important. You want to have that item outside just to prevent any additional injuries or loss of life. But the amount of debris that could be floating around in the streets, we want to make sure you stay away from downed power lines if you are near any. We are still very much in a phase where safety has to be our top priority. We really have to be following those instructions from our local emergency management.
Of course, and of course it makes it that much more difficult knowing that you've got Milton to deal with, but this is right on the heels of Hurricane Helene.
Absolutely, but let me tell you, this is what the American Red Cross trains for and prepares for every single day. This is, and by no means, an ideal situation. However, volunteers from across the country have raised their hand and said, I want to help my community. I want to help those impacted. And it is so powerful. And if anyone who has been impacted needs safe shelter, you can find the list of open shelters at redcross.org/shelters or by calling 1-800-RED-CROSS. But we're going to be here for months, I would imagine.
Now, it's interesting because that's what we keep hearing, that the communities really came together during this. They were stretched and needed help. They weren't getting the help that they needed initially, so they all band together and ensured that they were assisting one another. Is that what you're seeing as well?
This is special, and this is what we do. This is what communities do in every disaster. We never want to see this happen anywhere, and we know this is the time when communities rally. This is when they shine, even during some of the darkest, most difficult times. It's truly special to see.
And you said you're going to be there for months. Tell us what that looks like in terms of the Red Cross being on the ground in these areas for months. What will you be doing for those months?
Well, recovery could have a long road ahead. I think what could surprise some is when Hurricane Helene hit just, 10 days ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, we were still actively caring for folks who were impacted by Hurricane Idalia from the previous year. We know that recovery may be difficult, but this is what the Red Cross does, along with partners and other community organizations. We want to wrap our arms around these folks, whether that's opening shelter, providing financial assistance, a warm meal, or really even just someone to talk to. We know they've got a long road ahead, but they will not be walking that journey alone.
I mean, it's absolutely incredible to think about that certain people have lost everything, their home underwater. They're lucky to be alive. Where do you start?
It's a really hard situation to be in, and I think for those of us who live in unimpacted areas can also make us feel helpless. this is the time where we've got to show up for our family, our friends, and let them know that we are here for them. Recovery from a disaster is a step-by-step process. And really, some days you just put one foot forward after the other. You take it slow. You want to move forward. This is going to be a difficult time for folks, but we know just how strong people are in the face of adversity. We know they'll pull through, but I know it's not an easy route.
Okay. Nicole, we're praying for your efforts and, of course, all of the people in the affected areas. Thank you very much for being here. Nicole Maul joining us from the Red Cross. And if families affected by Hurricane Milton urgently need support, you can help the American Red Cross provide meals and shelter to those families. You can donate today to Hurricane Milton recovery efforts and residents in need in North Carolina by scanning the QR code on your screen or by going to redcross.org/FoxForward.